Melancholy Christmas, everyone. No. I very much mean melancholy Christmas. It's not a very Merry Christmas when me and Tata turn up, is it? Gladly. Hello there, people on the small screen watching. Some of you are getting a sneak peek of what you might see on Christmas Eve. Unless you've been boring and been good all year. Unfortunately, you won't see me, and you'll instead get to see my uncle in his ridiculous red suit. I told him that color just does not suit him. Anyways, my name is Babbett. I'm what you'd call the Christmas demon. My father is Krampus, and I'm sure you've heard of him, or even came in contact with him. Lucky if it hit you enough to scar you. Clearly, you've been a good boy all your life, Mouse. Maybe it's time for a change. New year, new you? He enters old towns, lashing his chains and bells to capture the bad children and beat them till they are left with marks, or put them in a basket and bring them down to the underworld. Sometimes, if he's in a rush, or the kid wasn't that bad but still quite bad, he puts a stick in the little kid's stocking or shoes they left for dear old Nick, and lets the parents deal with it. Yeah, we need to clear this horrific world one way or another, and it's better to do it sooner than later. Well, they do the moment they hit 1,666 days on Earth. That's when the guardian of the kid will introduce Saint Nick, me, and Tata. Mostly Tata, though I come in a bit later. Yeah, that's about 4 years, I'd say. That's because it's usually when a child can start understanding what is going on around them. You know, the numbers, the letters, symbols of real things, things that can hurt them, and things that they like. So we let them grow up enough to have an understanding. We're not monsters. We don't just go for people who don't know what's going on. We let them gain a conscience, and if they're still stupid enough to do something evil, then jolly good, we get to have some fun. I do not deal with children. I find them frankly gross and quite irritating, and damn, they're hella awful. I've never seen so many kids lie to their parents, do unheard things to other living souls, have hatred and jealousy towards one another, and the hatred has just bumped up, like, in the past 50 years, immensely. It's crazy. I deal with the ones who've managed to get to the age of resurrection, as we call it. The age of 33. You'd think so, wouldn't you? Well, that's the age of where 80% of the world's population want to change in their life. Maybe a small tattoo, or a new haircut, or a change of scenery, or start a family, or settle down with 6 cats. Doesn't that sound lovely? Yeah. Well, how about when people at that age decide they want to buy guns and go on a shooting spree in areas where people are barely halfway through their childhood? Or when people decide to use others for their wealth and make them think they're in love with them, manipulate them, and then leave them without any trace. Or people who decide to have kids and they torture that one pure soul so much, verbally and physically, until they can't take it anymore and they fight back, making the abused become the abuser, and the cycle doesn't stop. That's our easiest targets. Or simply a person who doesn't take no as an answer and oversteps boundaries. That's when they get on my list. No, not at all. I come to them like in a dream. Adults are easy to tempt. As they grow older, they become greedy, and you can spot someone's greed on their face. It marks them. I knock on their door, and I come to them as a helpless stranger in a little scarf to hide these beautiful things. And they tend to sometimes turn me away. So that's when I proceed to strike my beautiful claw in their chest and take out their ash-colored soul. Yes, so that's all you are? Your body is just a cover, nothing else. They're left without air, all grey and blue, and that's when you know Babbett stepped through. Because most of the time, someone who tried to help me have a malicious thought in their mind. I don't look the same to everyone. I probably don't look the same to you either. Or you. Or you. Or you. I look like what you want me to look. What would make your heart melt or make you feel safe or craving. I'm kind of like a temptation. The only thing that I cannot hide is these horns. Oh, I just covered them with a scarf or a hat. I always bring one with me just in case. Person? Oh, you see me like one of you. I've never had time to ask someone what they see me like. But have you ever asked someone, like your guests here, if they're a bad person? And what did they say? You never ask a bad person if you think they're a bad person. In their mind, they're doing what feels natural to them. Yes, they have a voice at the back of their head going, "Don't do that! You regret it!" But they get angry at that voice and ignore it, especially if they're pumped full of adrenaline. They will continue on the heinous act. I'd say I'm not a bad person, nor is my tata. We cleared the unnecessary souls that were given a second chance to roam this earth and failed. And it's all for the good people to have a Merry Christmas. People still think we're myths, and they think that nothing will harm them if they celebrate Christmas as a religious holiday, even though they haven't been to church once that entire year. And if they're against all religions and stick to their own protective ways, they're all okay. It's funny because the way humans celebrate Christmas is a very pagan traditional way. And no prayer will save you from your wicked ways if you've done so many wrong things. No matter how much you try in every new generation to bury how your ancestors live, we will always live through you. It's how we celebrated the world's growth. It's become flashy and humans try and remove traditions because of someone who got offended or someone who decided to make fun of someone else. You forget you are one. All of you are interlinked. No matter where you were born, what type of hair you have, your skin color, eye color, accent, features, these are just things that you managed to add to your avatar. You're all still just a soul, which can be strong or unstable. And it's really funny that you let some unstable weakling create an emotion that doesn't actually exist, which is anger, in your own body towards one another. And you try and to wipe out and recreate the human race in your own way when we all know that the only one empowered to change the way we live is God. No matter what you call him, he's still above us all. In the many, many years I've been roaming this earth, just watching and observing before the one day a year when I can get involved, I've seen how quickly you all get sick. How worn out you all are, getting up in the morning, swearing at the job that you applied for, hating every minute of every day. It's so sad to see. I mean, not for me, but for someone like my uncle, it breaks his heart. You humans lost touch with how to even eat. You think a salad will save you? Or eating more fruits, or, your 5-a-day? To make you healthy, you need to eat how your ancestors ate. More wheat or less than what the lady on those magical boxes that you're all addicted to said. More clean meats, not what these factories pump into their poor animals to make them grow faster than they already are. More flowers. Flowers are edible and a delicacy. I do not understand how you've managed to get rid of that too. Your physical being is your physical identity. It has nothing to do with your soul, like if you're a bad person or not. It has to do with helping your soul to guide itself around the world, to feel, to capture pure memories and understandings. Your judgment comes from learning about various things, right? Like when you are younger, you don't see the opposite features of someone and judge them by the way they look. You just know they're human like you. But when you are born in a specific culture, you're a mix of your ancestors, not just features, but organs too. Your body still craves to be taken care of how your family has been treating themselves since the beginning of time. Like, if a mother took drugs before she got with child and continued taking them throughout the pregnancy, the child, if survives, they would be longing and addiction. Might not be the same addiction, but something on a similar line. Do you understand? With traditions, it's the same. You feel more complete, and sometimes you feel like a weight has been lifted off your heart. Now, with this one, it can be a little bit more difficult because cultures have been mixing a lot throughout the years. Sometimes you might have ancestors that 95% of them came from one side of the world, and something still doesn't feel right. But when you try a tradition that was from that 5% of the other side of the world, you feel more at home. Yule, for instance, is the undername for Christmas. It's a celebration of winter. It's such as Beltane, which is the marking of beginning of summer. There are celebrations of the earth. I belong in winter, so I'll start you off with some Christmas heritage. The very occasion of how to physically celebrate it are descendants from very, very pagan traditions, such as gift exchange. It was for good harvest and good luck to yourself and the people you're giving gifts to. You would be decorating trees with god offerings, like fruits and candles, and symbols from your family, and they would represent eternal life, like the tree of life. Carol singers are for wishing away bad health and bad luck. Dancing is to strengthen the bond between your spiritual being and your physical one towards the earth. You know, and you see how I haven't mentioned expenses. You humans are so worried about buying the most expensive gift for the most loved one in your family, but the most expensive gift to give someone is time. You can never get that back. The money you can. Everyone spent days, weeks, months creating something to hand over to their person. You lot worry too much about Christmas shopping. And it even makes you vain. Especially when you are out shopping in an environment with strangers who have the same objective. And this disgustingly beautiful loathing boils up inside you and lets you give into the violence and do unspeakable things during a time that's meant to bring people together. That's when I smile and I know exactly who's next on my list. But I'm not telling you this to stop. I would like you to still be vain and do unspeakable things, because that will make my job a little bit more full and a little bit more fun. All I can say is 3 things. 1, look again at how you're actually supposed to live. Might save you. 2, I hope we cross paths. And 3, Merry Christmas.